Hello. So today's math lesson is going to be on less than. Yesterday we did greater than. So the code for today's Nearpod lesson is LZPAC. So hopefully someone can help you go to nearpod.com or use the Nearpod app. LZPAC is what you're going to plug in, which I have right here. You're going to join. So in this session, in order to join, you do have to type your name just like every other time. Your name, not mine. When you're done typing your name, you're going to join the session. Okay, so yesterday we did greater, which we said is the same as more or bigger. Okay, so less is a little bit easier to remember, but it's also, another word is smaller. So, the directions for this are the same, except we're figuring out which one is more, which one is less instead of greater. So, the directions say, count the items in each row, place the number in the box. Place a check mark in the small box next to the number that is less. So, this week we read about how the census helps the government decide how many hospitals should be built. So this is a picture of a hospital. We're going to count each row individually. So I'm going to count the first row of hospitals. I'm going to label them so that I know that every time I count one, it's 1. So I'm making sure my 1-to-1 matches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So my first row has 6, but let's count them together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The first row has 6 hospitals. Now let's move on to labeling the second row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's count them together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In the next row, there are 5 hospitals. So now we have to say which one is less or which one is smaller. So when we're thinking about cupcakes, if someone has 6 cupcakes and I only have 5, I have less than them. I have a smaller amount. If you look at the picture, you can see right here, in order for them to have the same, this one would be missing. So 5 is smaller than 6. 5 is less than 6. When you're done writing 6 and 5 and checking the box next to 5, you hit submit. If you need more time, you can always hit pause on the video to complete this. Now, the census is asking questions about who lives in each house. So we're going to count the number of questions in the first line. I'm going to label them first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So let's count together the first row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 8 questions in the first row. So at the end, we're putting our total, which is 8. Now we're going to move on to the next row and count the questions. I'm going to label them first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, let's count them together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It may help you to count to touch the screen, and that's okay. So if you want to touch the screen and count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That might help you count too. Whatever helps you count. So I did forget to put 6 as my total of the second row. Now, if you have $8 and I have $6, I have less than you. The amount that I have is smaller than yours. So 6 is less than 8. And I could also look, if I wanted them to be the same, there's some missing here. If there's some missing, that number is smaller or less. So when you're done writing 8, 6, and putting a checkbox next to 6, you hit submit. Okay, so the census can be done on a computer. It's not online this year. So we're going to count the number of phones. I'm going to label them first. You may want to label them too, but you don't have to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. The first row has 8 phones. Let's count together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The first row has 8 phones. Now let's count the number in the second row. I'm going to label them first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So let's count together. Add the one a little lower. Let's count together. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now I know if you put your finger on the screen, it might put a dot on every single one, and that's okay. So we have 9 phones in the last row. Which one is more, 8 or 9? If your sister has 9 candies and you only have 8, you know that she has more than you and you have less than her. So 8 is less than 9. So when you're done filling that in, you're going to go to our last question for today. So they use the census to decide where they're going to build highways. It's one thing the government uses the information for. So we're going to label the highways in the first row. 1, 2. That was easy. Not hard. Ready? Let's count together. 1, 2. There are 2 highways in the first row. Now we can move on to the second row. Ready? Labeling first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 highways. Let's count them together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 highways. Now, one is less than the other. Is 2 less or 5? See if you could figure it out. 2 is less than 5. It is a smaller number. Okay? If I think of somebody that's 2 years old, I know they're a lot smaller than me. 2 is less. Okay? So, now that you're done, 2, 5, and your check box next to 2, because 2 is less than 5, you're all done with today's lesson. So when you hit submit, it will tell you that you're all done. Thank you so much for your work.